Hello everyone, this is Sheree from Turquoise Dreaming. How you doing today? Welcome to my channel and thank you for joining me. I'm here with a quick video, a couple things I wanted to share. So the first thing, well, there's two things. I'll tell you what they are real quick and then we'll do it. So the first thing is a quick Etsy update. The second thing I wanted to share is what I ended up doing with my fabric scraps, because I kind of ended that whole series where I started last pretty much the end of March, and it went on for quite a while using my paper scraps and my fabric scraps. So I used up on my paper scraps and I started on my fabric scraps. So I wanted to share the why I stopped. Okay, so I'm going to share that after I show you my Etsy update. And I thought I'd do a quick Etsy update. It's not a lot of stuff, but I just think it's easier just to show you a few things than to show you a whole like ton of things at one time in an Etsy update. So basically I've just put some fabric in there that I haven't shown you in an Etsy update. I showed it to you when I brought it home from the thrift store, but it's this pretty, like, I'm in my video where I brought it home, I think I said I called it flower power, and it's these big flowers it has on here. It has like a green background and then these different colored flowers. So I have it all divided into I guess I divided this one into fat quarters. So that's 18 by 22 inches, and I have a piece of fabric tape wrapped around to keep it together, but I cut it in fat quarter shapes, you know, kind of like rectangles. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 of those fat quarters, and I think that's just a good you know, I have the fabric that I have in my shop divided into different kind of you know, measurements as far as what I had and what I could divide it up into, and I'm kind of really just kind of experimenting to see what, you know, you all like. I know a fat quarter is great for making a journal. If you wanted to make a journal out of it, you probably would have enough. You should have enough to, like, for especially for like a traveler's notebook, to cover the front and the inside if you wanted to, or make 2 journals if you're going to use it like travelers, you know, standard traveler's notebook size, to put it on the outside. So anyway, it's a good amount of fabric to use on a craft project. So that's why I did the fat quarters on those. And then I put some books in there. This is one that I found, you know, these all I picked up at thrift stores. So this one I just picked it up and put it in there in my shop because it's an old book, and I thought it was, you know, the old books, it's like, I don't think, I kind of get the impression on some of these old books nobody wants them, like, but this was a really, I think it's a children's book, and it's old. It's I have I guess I won't tell you, I'll tell you on this one, but the rest of them I won't tell you the copyright because everything's already in my Etsy shop, and I've got all the information in there as far as copyright, you know, the shape of the book or condition, and, you know, I already showed it in my haul type video. So this is 1961. Yeah, some of these old kind of really cool books, I just hate to leave them behind. I feel like maybe nobody else would have seen the beauty in this, so I brought it home and put it in my Etsy shop. This one is the same thing. I just thought it was a neat old book. Here's as a reminder, here's the cover, and it has this neat old brown tape on it. Of course, junk journalers think that's just the coolest thing ever. It has a library card right in the front here, in a library pocket. It was a library book at a school, and so, you know, it's in good shape. It can be used for reading or used for, you know, a junk journal, and it's 19, I just saw the date. Like I said, I wasn't going to give you the date, right? But what do? 1960. So another old one that probably nobody else would have picked up, but I just thought, I mean, look at the front. It's not like super fancy, but I think that's really cool. The picture they have on the front and the tape, I think that's just, I really like that. But that's, you know, I've decided I can't keep all the books that I bring home, so I need to share them in my Etsy shop. This is one that I had picked up a while ago, and I'm going through my books again, not again, but like, you know, I'm just going through my books that I have had for a while to figure out, you know, what I could do with them, because I've accumulated too many, and I need to share some of them in my Etsy shop. So this is a nice book here. I think it's is it vintage? It looks newish, but I don't think it's that new. 2004, so it's not quite vintage yet, but I just thought it was nice. All in the timing, Tales from Grace Chapel Inn, and it's, I believe, like Christian stories. It's put out by Guideposts. So, you know, I'm sure, you know, anything, I haven't read any of the stories, but usually their type of stories are encouraging and things like that. And I think it has a really pretty cover. So again, it can be used for reading or, you know, encouraging reading, I would say. And, you know, nice clean book as far as language and things like that. And also, it could be used for a junk journal. I mean, or an, let's see, it's, let me see what kind of spine. It's a hollowback spine, but I think you could probably, if you've ever made an altered book with a hollowback spine, you could probably use this if you wanted to for an altered book, or a regular, you know, where you put in a new spine. But anyway, I just thought it was a really pretty cover with this front porch and, you know, garden over here. And so that's in my shop. And so I've got this Southern Living now. This is an older one. I see a lot of the, I'm going to say newer, even though they might be vintage. This is an older one that I thought was, you know, I love the older cookbooks. This one's 1981, so it's not like 50s or anything, but it has that look of, you know, 70s type look, 1981. And it's really actually very nice, in great condition. You know, the cover has a little wear on it, but not that much. And the pages look, I mean, the pages look brand new. Looks like it really was never used, but yeah, it has a nice, you know, the way the recipes are set up, I think is really neat. If you were going to use it for ephemera, you know, it has the recipes in places like this, you know, little shapes that could be easily cut out. And then it does have some nice pictures in here. So you could use, and these are good size. These are good size pages too, so it would be really nice to use in a junk journal also. You see that? Beautiful picture. So that's a nice vintage Southern Living cookbook. And a couple more things, and just some Ideals magazines. I have a collection that I'm using for myself now. I mean, quite a few. So the new one, not new, but the ones I'm bringing home now, I'm making myself put, even though I love them, I'm making myself put them in my shop because I don't have room for them. So there's 2 Mother's Day and 2 Easter. And when I put my Ideals in my shop, I do post 10 pictures so you can see the inside as much as possible, you know, in the pictures. I don't just put one, you know, the front cover or something. I want you to see like the beauty of these books. You know, maybe you've never seen one before and you don't know how beautiful they are. You know, why would I want one? You know, the cover's nice and pretty, but you know, what's on the inside? So I make sure I always do separate listings and you know, post 10 pictures of the beauty of these magazines. So there's 4. I think I have 1 more in there too. So I think I have 5 altogether that I already showed you, that other one. And the last thing I put in there is some of these little, I called them, I wasn't sure what to call them. I called them doily/appliques, because they look like little doilies and they're different shaped flowers. See, I'm calling them flowers, but you know, see, I'll just show you. There's smaller ones and there's bigger ones, and then this is like a round one. Let's see, is there any other shapes here? I think that might be all the shapes. But I thought they were super cute, and what I did was I found a blouse with these on it. It was all of these little shapes, and I cut it apart, and there we go. We have some pretty little vintage looking flowers that are nice and flat to use in our journals, in ephemera, whatever we want to use them in, right? And the color is like coffee color, so it's like the perfect little thing to add, you know, and not add bulk to our journals. It's a nice pretty little flat decoration. So this is all I have right here. So, you know, when they're gone, but I do have these listed in my shop to sell a few of those. And so now my scraps. So this is what I ended up doing, my fabric scraps. I wanted to show you because I've been wanting to show you, because kind of just stopped with the scraps, using up scraps videos, because what I decided, I used up my paper scraps right down to the bottom of my scrap box, and I just used them all up. And so now when I was using up my fabric, or trying to use up my fabric scraps, what I ended up doing after I used a bunch of them was organizing them into shapes I can use, because I found that I need fabric scraps when I'm decorating my journals. I need this or that or whatever. I'm going to show you. So lately I've got some fabric from I think I got this in Happy Mail, and it was some striped fabric, and do I still have some? Yeah, I still have some to cut up. But my thought was I wanted to make some fabric ribbon. I was using ribbon. I use ribbon to wrap my orders, and I'm using ribbon, and I was like, I think I need to buy some more ribbon. But I was like, oh, I could cut this fabric. I mean, it had these stripes already, so I thought, that almost looks like it could be a ribbon. So I cut this striped fabric up into long strips like this, so I could have what I'm calling fabric ribbon, for me. So that's for my personal use. I've been using it a lot. So I try to match like green or pink with whatever I'm, wrapping it in if I can. But anyway, that's just a fun way to use if you have some fabric that maybe you don't want to use in your journals, or you just need something to wrap something around a ribbon and you don't have any ribbon. Use a fabric strip. So that's one thing I did, and I showed you these before. These are little squares that I cut out with my pinking shears. So I have I just use Ziploc bags to organize these. So these are little, all my little squares that I've cut up so far, and I'm just keeping them as I like to use them in little collages and clusters and things. So when I need something like that, I can go to this bag and look for the color I need. I'm about to add some more red and white gingham. I've been working with that this week, and I think I have some that I could cut up into little squares. So I'm going to add that, and I have quite a color. I've got yellows, purples, blues in there, and then I'll have some red and white gingham, and there's some like purple and white gingham in there. So really nice to just have stuff like that on hand and not, really have to use up all my scraps. I just needed to organize the last of them, and this is the last of my fabric, what I'm calling my fabric scraps. I have fabric, but not fabric scraps. So these are the tinier pieces that I wanted to save. If you can see, I'll just give you an example of the tinier pieces in here. Sometimes you need a piece for the top of a tag, or you need to sew a little piece on the top of a journaling card for a little pull tab, or on the side of a page. So that's what these are for. And so they're in there. Or maybe I'm making a little, like a snippet type, tie closure, and I need little pieces on there to sew on there. So that's what that bag is for, pretty much. Let's see, these are also more of a longer strips. Not long, but I'll say short strips. How about that? So short strips, as you can see, these are for tags. So when I make some tags, I can look in here and say, oh, I need a strip. Let's go look at my little bag of strips and see if I have one that matches this, whatever I'm working on. So that's my little strip bag for tags. And you guys know, if you watch my channel, that I like to make ephemera, right? So yeah, that's my little strip bag. Quite a few in there. So if I have a little scrap now, or a scrap, I go through and add it to the appropriate bag here to keep my scraps organized. And this is the last one, and this is more longer strips. So like if I need a ruffle for the side of a page, I could take this and sew it, into ruffle shape. Or there's some longer strips in here that could be used for, this is more of a ruffle, but there's some, like here's a longer one that could possibly be used for a closure for a journal, tie closure. So yeah, that's what this bag is. I do have a bigger piece in here. I probably didn't know what to do with that. I think I'll put that in a different bag. It's just that's probably from when I was making, was that what it might have been from when I was making yo-yos. So yeah, there's some strips in here that I didn't know what to do with too. Like here's a bigger piece of yeah, these are just my bigger pieces too. I see, that's what I'm putting in here. Longer strips and bigger pieces, so I can, you know, cut this up and use it how I want as far as that goes. So this was the balance strips and the balance of my, apparently, of my bigger fabric scraps. So here's some small ones though. I probably didn't know what to do with these. I see I threw these in here too, little strips. That could be, these could be stapled on the top of a tag or something like that. Sometimes we staple if they're too small. You just put use a small staple and put that on the top of a tag. So yeah, that's what I ended up doing with my fabric scraps, because I decided I needed to really not use them all up, because I actually need them when I'm making journals. So now I've got them, I've used up a bunch and I've got them organized, so when I need something I can go right to the bag that they are in and grab what I need. And I didn't have that before. They're all stuffed in two big Ziploc bags like this. All my scraps were in there and just all together. So I like having them organized, so I wanted to share that with you because I like to share my little, I like to organize, have things organized, so I wanted to share that little organizational tip with you. So hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you all next time, and have a great night. Happy crafting.